The Sydney lockdown will cost 300,000 jobs. Let's have a look. Hello everyone, Florian.Heise here, and welcome to another episode of HeiseSays. Grab your stein of coffee. We're going to look at an article from ABC which is discussing, well, the potential for 300,000 jobs gone due to the Greater Sydney lockdown, everyone. And before we look at this, let's just remind ourselves at the current unemployment rate. Where is it? I'll bring it up here. Here we go. So under 5%, 4.9%, everyone. That's going to change if we see 300,000 jobs lost because of what's happening into Sydney. So, as Greater Sydney lockdowns impact other states, women and young workers suffer the most job losses. And it's not just, well, it's now the Hunter region, Newcastle. The damage from Sydney's virus outbreak is showing up in the national employment data, and economists warn it is spilling over into other states. Across Australia, women are losing jobs at a faster rate than men, while the youngest and oldest workers are losing jobs the fastest, as in previous lockdowns. Now, the reason women are more likely to lose jobs is because they'll be in retail and customer service roles with businesses that are forced to close. That's the sad reality of the situation. Between July 3rd and July 17th, the number of payroll jobs fell by 2.4% nationally, according to the Bureau of Statistics. But the bulk of those job losses occurred in New South Wales, where jobs declined by a much larger 4.4%. Payroll jobs are tracked by the Australian Tax Office's single-touch payroll system. Commonwealth Bank's economics team expects the national unemployment rate to jump in coming months from 4.9% in June to 5.6% in October. Payroll data shows job losses across the country. The period covered in the latest payroll data coincided with school holidays in every state and territory, so that has been taken into account. But the data has captured the impact of the second and third weeks of the Greater Sydney lockdown, increased COVID-19 restrictions in other parts of New South Wales, and the first 2 days of Victoria's short lockdown in July. Crucially, it did not capture the restrictions imposed on the construction industry in New South Wales, because those were implemented after July 17th. It will also take weeks before the payroll data captures the sixth lockdown in Victoria, which was announced last night. This article's a few days old. So there you go, everyone. Look at those rates. 4.4 jobs are lost. 4.4% of jobs. Or changed from July to 17th. Commonwealth Bank senior economist Belinda Allen estimated New South Wales could record 300,000 job losses in coming months due to the extended lockdown in Greater Sydney. She said internal CBA data showed the number of bank customers receiving job seeker and other government benefit payments had been increasing in recent weeks too. Our concern is that the extended lockdown in Greater Sydney will lead to spillovers in other states, Ms. Allen said. Greater Sydney is a large and important economy, and with recent lockdowns in other states and closures of state borders, we could see job losses in other states where disaster relief payments are not in place. New South Wales accounts for roughly a third, 32%, of total payroll jobs, and Victoria around a quarter, 26.2%. As a result, lockdowns in these two states contributed to a strong fall in payroll jobs nationally, the ABS said. Women and young workers suffer the most job losses. I feel sorry for anyone graduating now, getting out of uni or getting out of high school, getting their first job, their first opportunity. What we don't want to see is economic scarring. This is why you have the government implementing these programs to incentivize businesses to hire younger people. And I know some people are worried that it's unfair discrimination, which it is. But you've got to think about it. If you're, 35, 40, and you're not worth that extra $100 a week, it's on you. However, the payroll data also showed women lost jobs at a faster rate than men in the first half of July. Younger workers suffered the heaviest job losses of any age group. Nationally, payroll jobs worked by women fell by 2.8%, while jobs worked by men declined by 2%. But in New South Wales, the numbers were far worse. Due to Greater Sydney's extended lockdowns, positions held by women declined by 5.3% in New South Wales, compared to 3.5% for men. Positions held by 15 to 19-year-olds are down 10.7%, 20 to 29-year-olds down 7.4%. All fell sharply in New South Wales. Positions held by workers aged 70 and over, down 7.1%, also declined noticeably. Payroll jobs in New South Wales accommodation and food services down 19%, and the arts and recreation service industries down 18%, took a battering in early July. In short, the damaging labour market trends seen in last year's national lockdown are being replicated in New South Wales at the moment. Ryan Felsman, a senior economist at CommSec, said the damage to the national labour market was broad-based, with small businesses employing 20 employees or fewer shedding the most jobs at 6.9% in the 2-week period. I saw on Sky News, Alan Jones was talking to a business person. He'd had to let all the staff go. And the guy is saying he doesn't know how his team can survive on the disaster payments. This is the price we're paying for these lockdowns to mitigate the illness, everyone. Forward-looking indicators of labour demand, such as the ANZ measure of job advertisements, also weakened in July, but the New South Wales JobSaver program and the COVID-19 disaster payments may limit the damage to the labour market, he said. That said, hours worked will fall sharply, with the unemployment rate lifting between July and October. EY senior economist Jonathan McMenamin said it was worrying the sharp decline in payroll jobs in July happened before restrictions were imposed on construction work in New South Wales. It's just going to get worse. He said EY modelling showed the restrictions on construction could double the economic impact, suggesting we'll see more significant declines in payroll in coming weeks. Potentially 300,000 jobs lost, everyone. 300,000 jobs. Unemployment rate expected to rise above 5% in coming months. Women and the youngest, oldest workers suffering the heaviest. More declines in payroll jobs to come. So what's the solution to this, guys? Well, we need to think about that, don't we? Here we're having these lockdowns having a dramatic impact on the economy. Do we advocate to reduce the lockdowns and then allow more of an impact of this illness? Would that encourage more people to vaccinate, or are people just going to learn and live with it, pay the price that we need to? Or will the government implement JobKeeper again to keep the relationship between employer and employee maintained? Although we're not going to have as much of a burden on the Centrelink services, then again, with lockdowns in Queensland, New South Wales and Victoria, maybe we will. Which would you prefer, everyone? A stepping back of the lockdowns or implementation of more government support? I think the concern with debt now is kind of out the window. It's trillions of dollars, or 1.3 trillion. And there's not even a hope of addressing that until 2080. We'll have to see what happens. It's kind of sad either way, isn't it? Anyway, guys, let me know your thoughts and opinions on this. What suggestion would you give to people that are stuck in this situation? Sadly, there are going to be some businesses that have to close, some people that just can't afford to take on the burden. Some people that have to really sit down, put the cards on the table, and step away. It's sad. As always, thank you for watching. Like, share, subscribe to the channel. Let me know your thoughts and opinions on this one in the comments down below. If you're a fan and enjoy the content I create here, there are a few ways you can support us. You can join us on YouTube or Patreon. You can support us using our affiliate links at Amazon, eBay, Independent Reserve, or AussieBroadband. You can buy merch from HeiseSays, use Gold Pass from the Perth Mint, or support us via PayPal. Take care. I'll see you next time. Bye for now.